Hey, what's up guys? Right now we're heading to Vincent van Gogh's childhood home here in Zundert in the Netherlands. We're gonna go see where his house used to stand, which is now a museum, and at the same time explore the places where he grew up. Okay, let's go. We are here in Zundert, a municipality and town in the south of the Netherlands, bordering Belgium, in the province of North Brabant. One of its well-known residents was the painter Vincent van Gogh. We will be knowing more about him in great detail in another video, but for now, here is an introduction of who he was. Vincent Wilhelm van Gogh was born on March 30, 1853 in Zundert and died in July 29, 1890 in Auvers near Paris, France. He was a Dutch painter, generally considered the greatest after Rembrandt and one of the greatest of the post-impressionists. The striking color, the emphatic brushwork, and the contoured forms of his work powerfully influenced the current expressionism in modern art. His art became astoundingly popular after his death, especially in the late 20th century, when his work sold for a record-breaking sums at auctions around the world, and was featured in blockbuster touring exhibitions, in part because of his extensive published letters. Van Gogh has also been mythologized in the popular imagination as a tortured artist. Now back in Zundert, we first visited the museum dedicated to him, and we were given a pamphlet about the important sites around town that correlates with his life and childhood, and this tour will last about 20 minutes if you decide to take the walk. The Vincent van Gogh House. He was born on Market 26 in a parsonage house of the Dutch Reformed Church that dates back around the 17th century. Its condition was so bad in the early 20th century, so by 1903 it was demolished and replaced by this new building. Vincent's mother donated money to the construction of the new parsonage. There is also a plaque in front that commemorates the centennial of his birth. The stone relief of the phoenix symbolizes eternal life and triumph over death, as a reference to Van Gogh, who lives after death through his paintings and letters that he continues to inspire people all over the world. Right beside it, on his left side, is the Van de Burgh sisters' house, Vincent van Gogh's godmothers, who lived at Market 25. From 1860, the sisters lived in this building, daughters of the late minister Abraham van der Burgh. They are neighbors with the Van Goghs, and Theodorus took them under his wing. They developed a close relationship with the children, and they were called as aunts. And their relationship continued after the Van Gogh family moved away from Zundert. Now let's cross the street to the village hall in Market. This neoclassical building dates back to 1830. It was the vibrant center of Zundert with its village pump, hotels, and stagecoach stop. The main road Molenstraat was part of the International Post Route or Napoleon's Road since 1809, paved by who else? Napoleon, for faster traffic. Then back to the Van Gogh house and inside. Upon entering, you'll see the large photograph of the unveiling of the plaque in celebration for Van Gogh's centennial birthday. Then there's the restaurant. And moving forward to the back, outside is the original well of the house, the Bottle of Vincent's Water. It's one of its most famous products. It was made by artist Loeck Grutjans in 2012 who searched and collected traces of Van Gogh, and this water bottle is part of his project. At the back room looking out the garden, the family had their meals, played games, or read books. Then, go straight to the lower garden. The garden was important to the Van Gogh family. They will spend their time there when the weather was fine. This current iteration was based on the memories of his sister Louise Van Gogh, with fruit trees and bushes with raspberries, berries, and apples. This is where Vincent first learned about nature and how he grew to appreciate it with a book by Alphonse Karr, Voyage autour du monde jardin. Now let's walk across the garden to the back gate. We will leave the garden behind and we will find Vincent walking with nature. Compared to the hustle and bustle of the front of the parsonage, the back was very quiet, where there were fields and rye fields. Now let's take a left and walk along the trail. Vincent enjoyed walking with nature, and back then, Zundert was surrounded by heathland, marshes, woods, and fields. He felt a strong bond with the beauty of nature and his religious inclinations, as he learned from his parents. Proof of God's existence lies in the wonders of nature. Although Vincent always lived in big cities later in his life, he will always yearn for the country life where he finds calmness and simplicity. Walking along, we'll pass by the Van Gogh Gallery. The Dutch Reformed community bought this old house in 1862 at the advice of Reverend Van Gogh. He collected 60 guilders from his parishioners in Zundert, and the house was saved from demolition and was restored as a parsonage. In 2008, it was again to be demolished, so the foundation of Van Gogh and Zundert saved and restored it with the support from the province of North Brabant, and became a guest accommodation for artists as an art gallery. There is a studio next to it that is made available for artists from abroad. It is called the Artist in Residence. Behind the parsonage is a vegetable plot where the Van Gogh family grew their own vegetables and fruits. Coincidentally, walking across is the graveyard. Vincent had fond memories of this graveyard when he was a child. And one time, when he came home one night when he was 24, he waited in this area until the sun rose, walking along the quiet cemetery, the churchyard, and looking at the familiar places and paths until sunrise. One of the sites that he looked at was his older brother Vincent's grave. He had been stillborn exactly 1 year before Vincent van Gogh was born, on March 30, 1852. Van Gogh's birthday is the exact date of his namesake's death day. Such a strange and sad coincidence. There are many more graves in the church cemetery, and some are well known in Zundert. such as the Van der Hoven and the Van de Wall, who were benefactors of the church. Beside the graveyard is the Dutch Reformed Church, which dates back from 1805. Vincent's father, Theodorus van Gogh, was a minister here from 1849 to 71. Each Sunday, Vincent would listen to his father's sermons. The church exterior and interior are original, and sermons are still being held here each Sunday morning. Other times, the church can only be visited through tours. Our last stop is the Vincent and Theo Monument, located on the square in front of the church. The Zundert-based banker family Van Lanschot donated it to the village in 1964. With Russian sculptor Osip Sadkini hailing the project, brotherly love was the theme of the statue. The bond between Vincent and his younger brother of 4 years, Theo, was very close. Theo financially and morally supported his brother so he can develop his artistry. This brotherly love started in Zundert as they were growing up and sharing a bedroom. Queen Juliana unveiled the monument on May 28, 1964, and underneath the statue is a quote from the last letter of Vincent to Theo. Vincent shot himself on July 27, 1819, in Auver. 2 days later, he died with Theo by his side. Though he was living in different places throughout his life, his childhood village of Zundert was present in his letters to families. He would fondly recount his childhood days in this area and how it sometimes inspired him to create some of his works. So now we learn something more from Vincent van Gogh's childhood. And now we are heading to a different site that is still related to the famous Dutch painter. Alright, until next time, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. Bye-bye!
So guys, if you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and feel free to comment.
Hit the bell, hit the bell, hit the bell, hit the bell, come on guys, hit the bell!
For notifications.
And don't forget to share!